We're still on the letter A of our acronym fall. Welcome to the TheIndieLot and this Filmmakers Bootcamp. The next miking system I use is this mic right here. This is not the most used mic, but this is a pretty decent mic. And whereas the Rode cost me just under $200, this particular mic here cost about $22. I purchased it from Amazon. We're Amazon Prime members. And this one is a little bit different in terms of the cabling and the connectors that need to be used on this. Whereas the Rode mic used the 1/8 inch plug, this uses an XLR. That's the 3 prongs. And so to use a system like this, you would need to not only have the microphone, but then you'd have to have the XLR cable, and then a preamp also needs to be able to power this into some kind of digital recording device. So the preamp that I use for this is called a Ceremonic Smart Rig. The other end of that XLR cable plugs into the bottom. This also takes a 9-volt battery. It just goes inside there. The other end of the XLR cable, so one end plugs into the back of the microphone. This is my preamp. Okay, it has an on-off switch. That's the gain. That knob there is the volume gain that allows you to control your recording levels. And then a stereo 1/8 inch jack that then plugs into your digital recorder. Alright, so I've moved everything now so I can show you the next piece of the recording using this microphone right here. Remember, this is my $22 mic from Amazon Prime, but this mic has been a pretty good mic for me. So remember, we're using an XLR cable and plugs into the back of the microphone there, and then it runs into the Ceremonic Smart Rig right here. Okay, here's my on and off switch right here, and so you've got off in the middle, on is to the right. If I was to switch this all the way over to the left, I'll just go ahead and do that. You can see that red light also comes on, as well as the green light, and this is telling me that this is providing phantom power. Some microphones require phantom power. This microphone does not, so I'm going to go ahead and just switch that back. Alright, and then this is our gain control right here, and this is what controls the level of the recording. I'm going to just start it off at about 25%. Alright, so then this cable comes out of the top of the smart rig, and it goes to that 1/8 jack, or 1/8 plug that I showed you earlier, and I have it plugged into the headphone jack of my Kindle Fire, something my wife got me. It was just a $50 electronic for a Christmas gift one time, and so by installing some free software on here for recording, this makes an excellent digital recorder. I'm going to go ahead and push that button there to get recording, and now you can see we're getting signal, and that's actual signal coming from this microphone and displaying there on my Kindle. Now remember, when we were looking at the Rode microphone, that the display, the LED display for the recording level, I showed you that I tried to keep my normal recording level at right around -12 decibels because I want to avoid clipping and distortion in the audio. Okay, so in this particular setup, it's not as easy to control in terms of watching the numbers, and so a couple things you have to do in this kind of a situation is it's a mix of using this gain control and then watching what's happening in the display. So I'm going to now take this gain control and I'm going to bump it up from 25% to 50%. And you can see I'm getting red spikes, okay? And that's bad when you're recording audio. Remember, I told you with the Rode, we want to avoid and stay out of the red because that's clipping and that causes distortion in your audio signal. And so it's something we want to stay away from. So the trick here is just playing with that gain to get the hottest signal that you can get without clipping. And so I find, at least right now with as close as this mic is to my mouth, which is about a foot away, maybe even a little less in this particular case, keeping that gain right around 25-30%. And I could go up maybe to 40 here. Seems to be okay there. You can see it's not clipping. But then again, this is another solution that you can use for recording audio. So we've been talking about that $22 mic and using the digital recorder you saw in the presentation, that I'm using my Kindle Fire. I've just installed an audio application and that works great. But recently I acquired this right here, if I can show you, and it's what I'm using to actually record this training right here. This is the Zoom H1N. I just recently purchased this for $119. Let's see. You can see there the meter is moving, capturing my audio signal. It's hard to read probably, but there's a negative 12 dB. I'm trying to keep my normal voice within that range there. But this is another digital recorder solution that I'm using that I actually like better than the Kindle. And just because, one, it's easier to control and operate the Zoom than it is the Kindle. But I have noticed something since I purchased this unit. When I'm using it for both my mics, the Rode microphone that I showed you earlier, and I'm using it for that $22 mic that you just saw. And the thing I've noticed as I'm using this Zoom H1N is that my Rode microphone is much more quiet than going through my camera's preamp. I still get a decent sound that I'm overall very pleased with, and especially when I bring it into post and do some EQing and some mastering on it, I can make that the Rode sound really nice. But using the Zoom and plugging the Rode directly into it, I get a lot less hiss. It's just a much cleaner sound, and so I'm very, very pleased with this recorder. Zoom H1N. Again, I purchased it for $119. The $22 mic, much cheaper solution. I still can get a very good sound out of it. But I have noticed, especially running through the Zoom, that the hiss level is much greater in comparison with the Rode. In fact, right now, using the Rode with the Zoom, the hiss is all but gone, but I can still hear it pretty good with the other microphone. But again, it's all repairable. I can get rid of that hiss in post and clean it up and still get a very good sound out of it. And so, again, you've got a more expensive alternative, and you do get an overall better sound out of it, especially working with this good digital recorder. But for $22, you can't really beat that mic for $22. It works great, and like I said, there is a process which we'll go over in a later module of how to clean up the audio hiss, and you can get a very great sound even out of that $22 mic. I want to now take you on another kind of behind the scenes presentation of another film I shot. This one is called The Sixth Sense, and in this film, I used exclusively for the entire film for audio, I used that $22 mic with the Saramonic Smart Rig and the Kindle Fire as my digital recorder. And so I want you just to see just how well that solution can work for a film. So here is The Sixth Sense, behind the scenes look. All right, here we go. Camera is rolling. Audio is rolling. This is my recording number 25. Action in 3, 2, 1.
Dr. Phillips, I'm ready to tell you my secret now.
2, 1. I see stone people. Please help me. This thing's so shaky. All right, Libs, that was good.
Thank you.
Okay. I think I'm going to get a little closer to the camera where I can see a little better. All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, camera is rolling.
Sound on. My recording number 34.
Okay, action in 3, 2, 1.
I see stone people. Please help me.
Cut. How'd you guys feel?
I like that one.
Yeah, I feel
Okay, good. Something you may have noticed in watching the behind the scenes of Sixth Sense. You noticed in one of those scenes, and she clapped in front of the camera. Also, there was another one where you probably heard her clap. So here's the thing: when you're recording your audio externally, you're going to have a way to sync up your audio in post. If you look over my shoulder here behind me, you can see my clapperboard in the background there. That's the kind of clapperboard you use, where you slap the clapper together and say action, right? And the clapperboard is used. It's not there for just something cool that directors and movie makers make and use, but it's there for a reason. It's an important reason. That clapperboard gets written on the scene number, the take number, stuff like that, so that in post, when your editor, if it's not you, and if it's you, whoever it is, they can look at that clapperboard in the shot and know what scene is being they're about to watch, what take it is, and that just helps in the overall process of being able to remember which takes were the best and get the best stuff for the take. But the clap that you see, that when that clapper claps, or as you saw my daughter clap in front of the camera, that is used in post to sync up your audio with video. Because remember, if you're not running into the camera, your audio is not automatically synced with the video. So you have to have a way to sync the two together. And so what you can do in post then is you can line up the sound of the clap with the visual of the clap into the camera or from the clapperboard. And then if you can line that up, then all the rest of your audio will be aligned up as well. And so that's what that's for. Before I forget, I want to just invite you to click on the link in the description of this video, and you can see the full film of The Sixth Sense. Again, it's a very short film, less than 3 minutes, and but you can go and see what the actual sound quality was produced in making the film with that microphone and the Ceramonic Smart Rig and Kindle combination. I hope you're getting the picture that audio is really important for your production, and you can do it for relatively inexpensive. In the next video that we talk about audio, though, I want to show you yet an even less expensive audio solution that, again, will work just fine. You may already have what you need in by way of an iPhone or an iPod Touch or something like that. I'm going to show you how you can use your iPhone or iPod Touch as a microphone on set and capture pretty decent audio quality.